Alright, fuck it, I'm going in.
Hold up for a minute. I said, hold up for a minute. I said, hold up for a minute. We can roll blunts on the shitter.
Thought I would talk a little bit about getting a motorcycle license and the steps you would have to go through. At least where I live in Ontario, Canada, we have basically like a graduated licensing system. So, you know, like if you were getting your car, truck license, and you know what I mean, your basic vehicle license, you know, you would have your G1, your G2, and your G. With the motorcycles, it's M1, M2, and M. Now your M1 is a written test. You have to go, you do a written test. It's about 100 questions. Your M1 only lasts for a maximum of 90 days. You can't go for your M2 before 60 days. So if you were to take, and I highly recommend taking a motorcycle safety course. So if you took a motorcycle safety course, you could write your M1, right? A week later, take your motorcycle safety course, and then once your 60 days for your M1 is up, you can go in and go to the MTO and register and get your M2 license because you've already done the motorcycle safety course. A lot of times when you do take the motorcycle safety course, at the end of that course, because it costs about $400 or $500, something like that, at the end of that course, they will do your M2 test. If you wait 90 days, it expires and you have to go and rewrite that test. Now once you have your M2, actually I'm going to go back a second. With your M1, you can't ride at night, you can't ride at passengers, it's zero alcohol, you shouldn't be drinking and riding anyway. So that's one. Make sure my bike's actually off. Well, power. M2, you can have passengers. And also M1, you cannot go on certain highways, like 400 series highways that go 100 kilometers an hour. You can't go on any major highways. There's just a couple highways that do hit 90 kilometers an hour that you're allowed to go on. Now your M2 you can ride at night. You can't have any alcohol in your system. Basically, you have your M2 for about 5 years, right? Now if you do the motorcycle safety course, after 18 months, you can go and do your M test. Or if you haven't taken the motorcycle safety course, you have to wait, I think it's 24 months, so 2 years, and then you can go and take your full M endorsement motorcycle license test. And you can either take a course again, you have to use your own bike. When you do the M2 motorcycle safety course, a lot of the times it costs a lot of money, but you're using their motorcycles to practice and do all the courses and stuff. For your M, you have to use your motorcycle. It is a relatively easy test as long as you do what you're supposed to do. But your M2, you have 5 years, maximum of 5 years. After that 5 years is up, you're going to have to go through and you're going to have to rewrite your M1 test. But the difference is because your M2 expired, you don't have to wait the 18 months or 24 months to go do your M2. You could basically write your M1 test and then like the next day do your M2 test because you've already gone through that process. So they're not going to make you wait that time again. But I suggest getting your M as soon as possible. Your motorcycle insurance will drop significantly and you don't have to worry about the stress. Everyone stresses out and bigs up this motorcycle test when it's really not that bad. Just ride like you're supposed to, be safe, stay in your blocking positions. I should make another video at some point kind of going through this stuff. You know, what lanes you're supposed to be in, or what part of the lane you're supposed to be in for the blocking position, especially if it's multiple lane roads. That's where people get confused. But that's the basic breakdown of the graduated licensing system in Ontario, Canada. You have your, you got your M1, no passengers, no night riding, no alcohol, and you're not allowed to go on any major highways, and you have to have that license for a minimum of 60 days before you go for your M2, and no longer than 90 days because it expires after 90 days. Your M2, however, will last for 5 years. Now, I do suggest not waiting those 5 years because you're going to procrastinate and you're going to get in a slump, and then you're going to be in a rush at the end of your 5th year being like, I got to get this done. I gotta get this done. So don't do that. And then after that, whether it's 3 years, I suggest that the second you can take it, go for your M license, get it done, over with. You don't have to worry about it for the rest of your life unless you get some crazy ass charges and shit, and then in that case you probably shouldn't even be on the road to begin with. Another thing, when you're first starting out and you get your M1, don't get a sport bike, because chances are it's going to be impossible for you to get insurance as an M1 rider, because if you don't have any on-road experience, you haven't done your test, your actual riding test yet. You've only done a written test, so insurance is going to be extremely hard. You basically got to be lucky or have money. With your M, some people are like, how are you supposed to practice if they won't give you insurance with an M1? Take the fucking course. Use their bikes, you get practice riding their bikes, you do the test, you pass, you have a little bit of experience riding, maybe not on the road, but then you can take it to the next level. It's really not that hard. Okay, stop complaining. It's not that difficult. So, that's the breakdown of the motorcycle graduated licensing system in Ontario. I don't know what the rest of the provinces are like, so if you live in a different province or a different state or something, put in the comments kind of like what the steps are to get your, whether, even if it's just a driver's license, what the steps are, kind of just a basic breakdown of where it is where you live. That's the basic breakdown of where I live. I don't find it that difficult. A lot of people do fail the test and stuff. When I went for my M license, I took a motorcycle safety course to go from my M1 to get my M2, because I like the idea of riding somebody else's motorcycles. But when I went for my M2, I did ride my CBR 600RR, and when I went for my M, so when I went from M2 to M, my full motorcycle endorsement, I did ride my CBR. I had no problem. I got like 3 errors. I did a fantastic job. I was pretty happy with it. The guy was happy. It's just about riding safe. Don't start on a big bike. Start on like a 300 or something like that. But, if you are like a really big dude, because of the power isn't there, maybe get like a 500 or even possibly a 650. It's not going to get. Don't touch one of these bikes. That's the basic breakdown of the graduated licensing system where I live. I think it's a good idea. I think the testing actually should be a little bit more difficult, especially the written test. I don't think no riders with an M1 should be even allowed on the road until they've done the actual riding test. Those are my opinions. Just because you can write the test doesn't mean you can actually ride. So that's it. So you guys have a good one. Hopefully you guys learned a little bit of information, or if you're thinking about going to get your license, maybe this kind of enlightened it a little bit more for you. This isn't what bike is best to start. This is just a basic rundown of how the graduated licensing system works where I live. M1, 90 days maximum. M2 for 5 years maximum. Then you get your M, and you're allowed to have a certain amount of alcohol in your system, and that's for life. So get your M as fast as you can. Your insurance will definitely help, and age makes a big difference. I gotta get riding this beast, so she is just begging me. So you guys have a good one. Take care. Be safe. Ride safe. And rubber down.